Take one. Artocast.
We're on.
Right on.
Hard glasses on.
We made it on another location. This is our wonderful place, by the way.
I actually like this spot better.
This is very, I know, like it's better to where we hang
It's
out.
a good vibe.
Let's see, we're looking good in there.
Oh,
These
you
guys,
can see it from where you are?
yeah, you don't be able to see it.
Are you sure it's not going to be too...
Wow.
Like, look at how bright it is. You know what I mean?
It's fine.
You don't care.
I think it'll
looks
be
good.
okay. Who needs to see full? I think it looks
There's like silhouettes because of the... It's so bright.
I just want to get going. No, it looks good.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
When you get close, you'll see.
All right.
And then you can do some other magic. But yeah, you guys were talking too much, so we got to get talking.
I got hours worth.
What? Whatever. 2 hours.
We were on our way. I'm just like, I hope this guy's a talker, man. makes things easier.
Yeah. So we're at Sam Rogers' house, which is
Out here
good.
in Ogden.
This,
Ogden, Utah.
yeah.
Fucking
Sometimes
who
that's
the
a drive
Who the
for
hell
people.
lives out in Ogden? Yeah, it's like a 45-minute drive, hour.
But yeah, it was a good adventure to come out here. I think going on location is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they got a better place than our place.
My place. We do it in my bedroom. Literally,
It's
like,
perfect though.
my bed's just right there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the bed, but I've seen the VHS collection.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Do you like V8? Why don't I have him come?
Okay, yeah.
Sam.
Everybody, we came here. Welcome to Sam Wise's home.
Sam
Everybody-
White? No, that was like yesterday.
Sorry. Welcome to Sam Rogers' home. All right, Sam Rogers, everybody. Artist, badass.
We need to have the sound
homeowner.
Soundboard.
My introductions, I should say a lot more, but
It's okay.
That's
Like,
perfect.
like you make it like
the
professional.
only
Like Bruce
person that
Buffer
should be
in
saying
boxing.
it is
Oh,
you,
God.
Roger, Sam Rogers.
Roger. Just
That's a good name. Sam is good.
Just slap together two white guy names.
Dude, it's perfect.
Perfect.
So how you been, man?
I'm so good, dude. Chilling on Sunday, you know.
What are you drinking?
Clamato.
Damn.
Fuck, man, I missed
Don't
that.
I offered. I said,
I know.
Yeah,
I got some in the car.
He was saying that you were like, what kind of booze do you guys want? What kind of beer? Man, this would be a lot easier and more fluid if I drank as well, or it'd be sloppy. Miss it.
Hell
It's like 100, almost 160 days dry.
oh, really?
Yeah, just no weed or anything. I mean, just nicotine and caffeine.
How is that? Your dreams just out of control? I read that.
Yeah.
You get nuts.
Sometimes I'll drink coffee or an energy drink and I'll go back to bed for some reason because I think ADHD, it almost has the opposite.
Yeah.
It kind of calms me down.
Max you
So
out.
I'll like go have a cup of coffee, go sit back on the couch, pass out and have like the most insane vivid dreams, usually from the caffeine. But as far as being sober, I haven't noticed a difference in dreams.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've heard too. I remember Rogan was talking about during the sober October,
Yeah.
they would just have the most insane dreams.
I quit smoking weed like 4 months ago, and my dreams were just insane. Like space travel. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the captain. Kardashians were the
What?
like the crew.
Oh no!
And I was like the only passenger on the ship. Just madness every night. Vivid ass dreams. It was crazy.
What?
Yeah, because when you smoke weed, you're not actually like really going to sleep. You're just passing yourself out, right? You're making yourself go to sleep. Or same with like alcohol. I would try to use it to go to bed.
Yeah.
As like a sedative or whatever. But it wouldn't work. I just end up staying up all night until all the booze is gone.
And then it's time for bed.
And then it's time for bed. You have like the fucking the desk beer just in case I like
Wake up.
wake up or like just in case I start sobering up. Like my fear was if I would go to bed too sober, so I'd have 1 or 2 extra beers off to the side and usually get halfway through it.
That's how I was
Same.
in weed.
The
Just
same.
roll over. My bed sheets we got like a bunch of burn holes from you blowing the bowls out in bed. You know, just like
Bedside
spark it
bowl.
back up. Bedside bowl.
I just have make sure after going out for a night, make sure there's alcohol just at home.
Yeah.
Didn't have to have it, as long as it was there. It was
In case you need it.
yeah, in case because I got a blackout drunk, so when the party's going
Top
on.
it off when you get home.
Yeah. Then I get home with all this stuff, and then like, oh, I got some at home. Then I
Is that a pencil sharpener?
Dude, it is.
Where?
So, yeah. So the mail, that little slot on the wall, the mail just comes right in the wall.
I noticed that.
And then they would just sharpen their, the 50s, they just sharpen their pencil, fill out their mail, and just put it right back in the wall. How nuts is that?
Legit. I gotta
This
get
house that we're in right now is so like old school and retro. I love even the smell when you walk in. I don't know what it is. It reminds me of my grandparents' house.
It's
like, I don't know if it's you as well, because like my grandpa was like a closet smoker, and I don't know if it was a mix with like the fucking aftershave and like cigarettes.
Cigs.
And like, I don't know.
And old people.
The old people smell. And there's even, you guys can't see it, there's a curtain to separate the kitchen and the living room. And I don't know why that is necessary. Well, like, it's probably a really fucked up reason.
Yeah.
Or, like, I remember my grandparents' bedroom door was a door like that. It wasn't even a swinging wooden door. It was just like...
An accordion door.
Yeah, an accordion door. And even locks, which is, like, suspicious.
And it's only from the one side.
Like you said, like, like, fucking lock your wife away in the kitchen.
Lock them in the kitchen, dude.
No way.
But I love it. We use it, like I said, we use it as like a sound diffuser, for playing guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
Piano's out of tune, but for playing the guitar.
Did that come with the house?
It didn't, no. It's like my stepmom's grandparents. So back in the day, people used to have to get loans. That's from like the 30s. And people would have to get loans. Pianos were so expensive that people would get loans for pianos, which does, that's so like out of
I've never heard of anybody doing that.
Yeah, so that's how they had to do it back in the day. Like pre-television, like the family would gather around the fucking piano instead of the television,
Oh yeah.
And but they moved and they didn't want to throw it away because it meant so much to her grandparents. And I just said, bring it over here, So it's been it looks good right there, right?
It looks rad.
It's just it does not sound very good.
How would you tune it? Like, how would you...
It's like it's this wrench, and you turn, just like a guitar, you know how you turn the top? So you turn them, and then... Yeah, that's how it sounded. That's the best it sounded.
That's
so
not
far.
legit. Do you actually know how to play piano, or are you just fucking around? That sounded like me.
I might.
This is good.
No, I know how, but I didn't like lessons when I was little.
Oh, the piano lessons.
I didn't like it, but I don't know how to. I kind of can read notes.
This is cool. I like how, because normal pianos isn't like the strings are like flat.
Sounds good.
Like,
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Like this is like up, and you like.
Can see
If
everything.
you see everything, is it supposed to be able to see, or is it missing a cover?
It has a cover, but I took the cover off just because I was
I think it
like.
looks rad.
I think
Looks good like that.
It looks like when it's just sitting there, it looks way better than just wood,
Nah.
You can see it all working.
Or am I tripping? Because aren't the strings normally flat?
Yeah, on like a grand and a baby grand, they're absolutely flat.
Yeah, so
And then
these strings
they open the thing up so you can see it.
and these things that just go up. It's like, and it's so.
And it's a huge hunk of brass, like that back thing is just all like inch thick brass and everything's just stuck to it. And then the wood is just for effect, like none of the wood is functional.
Okay, that's so interesting.
Just a big slab of brass.
And you play guitar mostly.
Mostly. And I've only been playing for like a year, but I just had to, when everyone was like inside. Do you remember like last year everyone was inside?
I remember it fondly.
Yeah, everyone was inside. And so, I had to figure something out, so I picked up the guitar for a while.
That's great though. I feel like I wasted so much time mostly drinking. Like
relaxing now, taking a break, dude. I need to break.
Yeah, sure.
And dude, 2020 felt like the longest year. Some people said it like flew by. I mean, everything flies by once it's done. You're like, oh, I can't believe that happened.
In hindsight.
But it felt like so long ago. Like it's only been a year since like the lockdown like officially started. And I remember going to different restaurants or stores or whatever, putting a mask on before it was like mandatory. And my girlfriend at the time was like, stop, that's weird. People are gonna think you're actually sick. You're gonna freak people out. What? Like they said you're supposed to. Like I'm just doing what, like I guess I'm a sheep. But I was like, I don't know, like.
That's a sheep.
Yeah, I'm a sheep.
I just wait till they ask me. And they never ask me.
And then
you bug you about it.
You're like the weird, you're the weird one at first wearing a mask. Nobody else is. And then I was like, fuck this.
You're before the trend.
Well, I was like hipster about it. No. And then I was like, fuck, this is weird. I'm not gonna wear a mask anymore because nobody else is. you know.
Yeah.
Like, and then
as soon as everyone else started doing it.
And then everyone else started wearing a mask, and then I wasn't, but it wasn't mandatory yet. But I still felt like an asshole just looking around, and everyone's masked up, and I'm just the one fucking dickhead.
My glasses get fogged up, so I just have to sort of half mask it. You know, people look at me a bit crazy, but
there's certain like I've been able to like figure it out. Like if I'm wearing sunglasses, like I usually wear a bandana.
Just dip it under.
And you like if you like tuck it up under enough,
yeah,
then it usually doesn't do it too bad or at all.
Too foggy.
I prefer the bandana too, like, cause on the ears, if you're wearing it for like a super long time, it fucking hurts, right? Like the
pressure.
The normal like medical masks aren't too bad, but like the cloth masks, if they're like too tight, it's fucking like wrenching your ears.
Yeah.
And my thing with the bandana, which I'm not even wearing right now, but this thing is like got like black spots for me, like wearing it every day, going to bed, filming, doing everything, cause I'm like I won't forget it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, oh fuck, where's my mask?
Right.
It's not in your pocket, so you get to go back to your car, whatever. But bandana, just around your neck all the time.
You can't really wear
bandana, everybody.
mask.
Make sure you get a
It's not cool.
bandana. Use promo code SAND.
Yeah, the bee bandana.
Yeah, these bandanas these guys sent us, they're pretty rare.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's not.
It's not.
But whatever.
It is.
I was gonna wear it.
It's fine.
This one that I have, like, is like formed to my like everything because I've worn it everywhere.
It's a beautiful beard. I don't even know how that. I don't know how.
Oh yeah, that's another
It's
thing.
got to be genetics, because I can't do that.
My
face doesn't do that.
My dad doesn't grow a good beard, but he never really tried to grow it out. But I think on my mom's side, her brothers is where I get it.
Yeah.
Because on my dad's side, he's like, oh, I'm too patchy. But when I shave it, it kind of it's like that. It just has to grow over the layers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure if you were to grow it out, it would be the same
Sort
thing.
of. No, it doesn't look as pretty as that. It gets a little Samwise, or what's that? Gimli. It gets a little Gimli.
Wait, is it?
Little gingerbeardy.
What is that guy's full name? So the Samwise Gamgee, and then is it just Gimli? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about the same Samwise?
We're talking about Lord of the Rings lore.
Didn't I start off saying Samwise? I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, you started off, you called him the wrong guy.
No, that's the right name.
I've been wanting to shave my beard lately, but every time I've had like nightmares or dreams about like shaving my beard, I always regret it. Or in real life, when I do shave my beard,
That's
I'm like,
pretty awesome though.
I don't have a chin. That's why I grow a
That's
beard
pretty
out.
awesome, dude. That you have like, so that you can like live it through your dreams before you have to actually do it.
Right, because I know like, oh man. Or I've had nightmares
Like a
where
test run.
yeah, and it's usually like not good because unless like for some reason in the dream I have like a nice jawline and like a good chin, but it's so little it's not there. You know, it kind of this is my makeup.
Yeah, it fills it. We only get so much. We get beards.
Beards in like
Hats.
it's all your hair. Yeah, a hat really because like my hair is. I mean,
It's nice.
Ah,
And jelly.
it's
Your hair is
beautiful.
nice too. Though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My mom gave it to me.
I might be copying it. So if
No,
you see me
you
on the
can't,
internet
you're
with
fine.
your exact
I just
same
want-
hairstyle.
With Miley Cyrus's haircut. But you were saying about you just played guitar for a year?
Yeah.
But you're playing with some hip hop too, or doing stuff with your music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's functional, like I was saying earlier, like functional art can be like, because it's like seeing gaps in the market is a good word for that, right? And then filling it. So like if I was to just become a guitarist and make an Instagram account as a guitarist, it wouldn't go anywhere. I'd get like 400 people that appreciated it. Most of them already knew me from my hometown, and it would go nowhere, right? But functional guitar would be contacting people that already manipulate sounds, so producers, people that make music for movies, and even if they're not bigger movies, even if it's just a guy making a smaller movie, they still need sound, you know what I mean? So it's intentionally filling those gaps instead of trying to forefront ego, you know what I mean? I am a guitarist or something like that.
Yeah.
It's much more if I can make the sound. There's a bunch of people that need sound,
Yeah.
and so then you can distribute it in that way.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make money so far. The guy that, like I said, the guy that makes the beats out of it, he does make money. But
Not money, but like you've gone pretty far in a year if you're doing something like that.
yeah,
You didn't grab it and just say, I'm done with it.
yeah.
This is a COVID jam.
I like the guitar because you can't really complete. It's like a video game you can't complete. Like,
Oh right.
you know, you can never. It's never done. You know, with ADHD, like I have ADHD, you know, and it's like you get a little bit of satisfaction and then you give it up, or you know, you get some sort of form of completion and you give it up, but you can't complete the
Same
guitar.
with skateboarding, all that. Yeah.
Dude, I know. Like, there's a lot of things that I feel like I'm mediocre at. Like, you accomplish something from it, and then I'm like, just kind of coast that wave.
Yeah.
Like, I play guitar or like skateboard. I wouldn't even say like I can backflip off of stuff, but that's not really like parkour. Like, I would like to get better at all these things, but I'm just like, Like, the only thing I've ever like pushed myself at in anywhere in life is like doing stunts. I don't know if you saw it, like, the crazy shit.
Absolutely.
Like, that's the only area where I've like wanted to fucking really like step it up. Like, yeah. And like, this is like you. I like how you said like, oh, if I were to just make an Instagram account as a guitarist, nobody would give a shit. Like, try to like expand and like be useful to all these other things. And I was just thinking like I should try to do that instead of like, oh, I'm a fucking stunt guy, I'm a crazy person. Like oh, if like you said, like, a movie needs me to act or do something crazy.
That or like a brand, you know, like you know, I saw the same the other day. It said like action inside of commercials gets like 80% more conversion to money. You know, which you know, it's just a green piece of paper, but if that's the plan, and so brands that don't necessarily their ideas visually aren't stimulating, but you like blowing stuff. I've seen some of your videos are crazy. You know, so you blowing stuff up or jumping off some crazy thing, wearing someone else's brand. You know what I mean? It's like they have an immediate like.
Dude, I would love to. I would love to like food, fucking whatever.
That's a good idea though.
I need to.
Because TikTok is off the chain. I'm an adult, so it's hard for me to even say those words. But TikTok is on fire right now.
It is.
So like you're, you know, some of your stunts, you know, they're made for those snippets. You know.
You need to be careful too, though, because I've had 19 videos removed from TikTok because of people. I don't even think people report it. I think they have like fucking people just that's I don't know if it's a robot or just like that's people's jobs. They'll just scour fucking
anything.
TikTok
like,
snitches.
Yeah,
I have some like really gnarly videos on TikTok. Like, there's a video of I put a fluorescent light tube in my friend's mouth, like, and then like went to the back of him and like broke it through. Like, it's like really gnarly. Like, he was okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Like, I've seen it in like deathmatch wrestling. I'm like, we should try this if you're down. Of course, I volunteered him to do it. It's so fucked up. I'm the one, and you know, I was like, I'm gonna upload this to TikTok, see if it stays, because I guarantee in 2 minutes it's gonna be down. It's been up, but I had a video of like my buddy falling on a treadmill. Like, treadmills, like a lot of people go to the gym.
Yeah.
Fall. Like, that's like a more relatable thing. It's common.
Yeah.
My friend's eating shit on this treadmill, and they take that down because it's dangerous activity. But I'm like, how did this other thing stay? And like, I've had 19 videos get removed because of dangerous activity. The way you can keep it is if you say like you're a professional or like, don't worry, nobody was hurt. Like, I know what I'm doing. Instagram is way easier to get away with like stuff like that. But like fire is a big like no-go for TikTok.
That's insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah, anything that's like easily recreatable. Like MTV doesn't even allow fire stuff. Like if I were like some of my stunts with fire, MTV, they're not like no. I'm pretty sure because that happened like the early days with Jackass. John Knoxville did a stunt with fire. I think he was like the human barbecue or something like that. I don't even know what. I haven't seen the footage like of what it actually was because I think it got taken down and some kid I think tried to reenact it and got super hurt and they tried to blame Jackass. But actually I think what I'm thinking is the Beavis and Butthead, like the fire and like some kid fucking like burned his house down or like killed his sister, some crazy shit. So
how that is not okay, but like Grand Theft Auto. Do you know what I mean?
The video, like,
yeah, you can like
exactly
get hookers and set them on fire, but
I guess
you do it a professional stunt is all of a sudden gonna, you know.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna upload anybody getting like severely injured.
Yeah.
Like, people dying or shit. Like I know what I'm doing. I take.
There's a professional at work here.
Yeah.
That's what you have to say. Is that?
Which is so weird.
We should market that. I'm serious. People would pay money. I think people would pay money for that. It's just like you wear their stuff and do insane stuff. You know?
I know. It's kind of. How do you? Yeah, like Kyler probably knows. Like, how do you get that started? You know.
Right.
But it's probably it doesn't hurt to ask. So ask all you
like,
want.
hey,
this is
like,
what I do.
Hey,
do you want to
even if it was like a little like local brand, like local company.
Right.
you just gotta label myself as like professional. I don't have like a certificate, but I could be like, I've been doing this for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
And then you take those local videos, and then you can send them to someone else.
Like just like
climb the
gradually.
ladder, yeah.
It's like, you know, the thing like you buy like a fucking little trinket at like a swap meet, and you go
trade up.
You trade, yeah, right. There's like that whole thing, and then you finally end up with the gold or whatever, the more expensive item, and you started with the little. I've also thought like, oh, you guys come up with an idea for me to do, like, but you pay me, like it's like you pay to submit like a stunt idea. And then I'll do it, and like I'll give you a shout out, like, yo, shout out to fucking Sam.
Yeah.
He had this idea where he wanted me to fucking jump off a roof, fucking whatever, and then I do it, and then they probably get stoked, maybe. I don't know why. I like the other idea better. Just like wear people's brand.
Yeah.
Some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then your page would just be all these different brands that you've been helping, and their page would just be their brand, and then you. All the crazy stunt posts, you know.
And hopefully it helps.
Like I've seen some, well, on Rob Dyrdek does, is he writes all that out, and that's a bill, a charge.
Like an invoice.
With everything though. Like
Yeah.
really smartly done, like with everything. Like, I'm going to be doing this, and this is what it would cost you. Yeah.
I know, I feel bad
I'll
charging
take $50,
people,
right?
right?
I mean, but like, yeah.
Like I had a kid the other day who was like, hey, like, do you do like Instagram shout outs like for like stories or whatever? I'm like, yeah. How much? I'm like, I don't know, like $25. Fucking, and I just gave him a shout out on my Instagram story. Just like, yo, go follow this guy.
How did you get into?
We're good.
I see you got all these pedals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you use? I've never really like used pedals, but I'm also really lazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool for like soundscapes. Like if it was like a guitar-based music, then a lot of it wouldn't make much sense. But a lot of the stuff that I've been helping with is not guitar-based. It's like hip hop, where the guitar is like in the background, or like move. This one you can mute where the initial hit of the strings is gone, and so you only hear the after effects of the strings. So for like spooky stuff or the ambience, you know what I mean? So it's like for when you're trying to make it not sound like a guitar, pedals are fire.
Wow, what the hell?
Right?
You're trying to make it sound like not.
Like not a guitar, yeah. And this one is supposed to be for like a noise suppressor, but if you don't use it as that, you can make it sound like a duck, you know, like almost wire, like a Q pedal. it's hard to describe, but it's, you know, it sounds like an organ almost. More less than a guitar.
That's super cool. That must be fun.
Is that what that pedal's based?
No, it's for noise suppression for like metal guys, so that when they're doing their chugging, that silence in between.
Oh yeah, I know.
Silent.
I know what you're talking about. There's no like white noise.
Yeah, bingo.
Because like my guitar, damn, dude, horrible white noise. I'm just chilling there and it's like,
Yep, and that's supposed to take that away. But if you turn it all the way up, it takes away the beginning of the strum. And so that, again, you only hear the after effects, but in a different way.
You don't hear like the pick plucking string.
Exactly.
Even
no dynamics.
Suppressing everything.
I mean, yeah. I only play with the Crybaby.
I used to.
Yeah, I wish.
But
someday I'll get one.
I'm looking to make my.
That's a wah pedal, right?
Yeah. Sound more.
Hendrixy.
Like a boat.
Like a boat.
What are you talking?
Like a creaking of a boat or something. I don't know.
Like an engine.
We'll get into that some other time.
Yeah.
I'm like.
I wish I had
talking loud, like I don't know. I'm looking for some cool shit, so that sounds pretty cool.
Van Halen would do that thing with the volume knob, huh, where it would sound like an organ. He was badass.
Kind of more like a giant, what do they call it, cello or?
Yeah, that's a cello.
Okay.
Like a bass, like a stand-up bass.
Like a bass. That's like yeah.
And these are all like copies, like because what I made
Like a
mistake.
monster.
Like a monster.
Why do you want to make monster sounds, bro?
You feel like
I'm trying to picture.
a god. I don't know.
I'm trying to picture in my head like where you're trying to like what band does that? Like is there like a similar sound? Your mind.
Kind of Primus does it sometimes.
Okay.
I made the mistake of buying because I thought I wanted a fuzz pedal, but I didn't know what fuzz was.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a thing, apparently.
Isn't
People
it
like.
metal? Like
I I don't even know because I'm new to it, you know. But I bought one, and my thing, you know, like I bought so many cheap things in my life that whereas like they don't work for very long, and so you buy like the medium one, so it works a little longer. And so I bought Big Muff is what it's called.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I bought.
That's fucked up.
I know it's funny. So I bought the Big Muff pedal, and it was like way more money than I should have spent on a pedal, and then I ended up not liking the effect, and so I was like, fuck that, I'll just buy the cheapest version of the effect, and then if I like it, I'll get a better one, and then never need it. So these are all like Chinese pedals. This one's a copy.
You need to give me a pedal
of
board like
Klon.
that.
This one's a copy of Walrus Slow. They're all just, you know, Chinese copies of good pedals.
And you're content with how they sound.
Oh yeah. And this and the guitar I put together myself. You know, put all the pickups and wired all the stuff together. You know.
Does it stay in tune pretty well?
Yeah, oh yeah. I put like a bone nut on it and then these tuners, you know, so that it would stay in tune for longer.
Dude, you really got into it. Like,
Oh,
only a year ago.
Yeah.
During quarantine,
Yeah,
right?
during quarantine.
And you just went full bores, like, really. Dude, I started playing guitar when I was probably, like, 13. And it felt like it came pretty naturally. I wasn't, like, struggling too bad, but I never cared to learn how to, like, read music. I know how to read tabs, but, like, that's whatever. I've never changed my own strings. I've always had other friends do it for me. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how to do it, bro. You do. Or I just don't ever change them. It's like the same strings for a few years, which is horrible. That's not what you want to do.
It has a different sound, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When they're new compared to when they're used.
100%. And you got all these, which is fucking awesome. And but you have a Squire.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't go all out and want to get like, because like that's like you said, like you can get the fucking best.
Yes. But then might not like it.
Yeah.
So you sort of get that.
You never know. Like in the future, you think you'll probably want to like upgrade to different guitars.
Yeah.
I
So
beat
this
this shit up too hard, so
Yeah.
I'm now thinking of going more expensive, but I beat my stuff up so bad it.
Well, he's bass too. He's fucking.
But now I'm, yeah.
And I'm a
Adds
used
character.
And
I think it's rad when I see like nice
if
guitars.
you're tuning your guitar, you're not cool, man. What? Stop wasting your time.
Wait,
Just
are
kidding.
you saying tuning your guitar is not cool?
On the streets. I'm just saying. When you come from
some of the blues was for like some of the Muddy Water stuff was from like missing strings, wasn't it? Every guitar had all 6 strings.
Right.
It brought the street.
Does have a unique sound.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you can have like the best of the best, but it comes down to like your ability, and like I've had friends like want to get like super nice cameras, but it's like if you don't have the eye for what you're trying to film anyway, or like actually know how to use the camera, it's not gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
You can have a way lesser expensive camera, but if you know how to like fuck with the ISO or have different lenses, I don't know, just have an eye for it.
I've seen videos where they give like a novice a $5,000 camera and give a pro a $10 camera. Have you seen those videos?
No, I haven't.
And then
I like that concept.
Yeah, and the beginner with the best camera in the world doesn't film near what the pro with the $10 camera does.
Yeah.
You know. So and that's the same concept, and that's what I felt with guitar. For me, it was dirt bikes. So when I was younger, we used to race dirt bikes, and I'd always want the newest thing.
Yeah.
But my dad would be like, "You don't need it. You're not good enough." Right? which is as a kid it crushes you.
Yeah,
But as an adult, it's like it makes total sense because like if I was actually good, then I could have made any dirt bike work.
If you're actually good, or if you're like into it enough.
Yeah, or if
you
you go
see that
for
you're
it.
trying.
Yeah.
That's how it was when I was younger with skateboarding. I really wanted to get into skateboarding so bad, but I was always given like a Walmart board. And like at first there's like the flat, really shitty ones. There's like the bearings don't even fucking move. But they saw that I was keep trying. They'd get like a different type of Walmart board that was a bit better, more shaped. And then finally, like when they saw I actually was progressing and cared about it, you know, put more than like a year's worth of effort. All right, we'll go to the fucking mall and get you like, or the local shop,
skate shop,
and get you like a legit setup with everything. No, I like that though. With the whole camera experiment, are they allowed to use like a gimbal, or like other?
I forget. I bet that since then a lot of people have copied that idea and made them variables like as crazy as that. But at the time it was just a guy gets a beginner gets given the best camera in the world, a novice vice versa, and then they see what they come up with, and it was just night and day. So like you were saying,
It's like if you know how to use the camera,
Exactly.
the eye for.
And
like,
this, it's
Just
pretty
need
much a
fade in,
Fender at
fade
this
out.
point. Besides the neck, you know, literally everything else on it is Fender parts at this point.
Mhm.
So it's just the neck. So if you know, this year if I wanted to switch anything out, it would just be the neck, and then it would be a Fender.
And then you have a Fender.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But slowly but surely, instead of just buying a $1,200 guitar, which I would never, you know, I'm a used guy. I buy everything from DI or
Mhm.
Sabres, you know.
That's where I got my
That's
Subaru.
Yeah, it's a fire. These rugs, they're all from the DI.
Yeah.
And so it was a Squire, like $100 guitar, and then slowly but surely just upgraded all the parts. And the pickups was like the main thing, because like you go to the pickup section at the guitar store, right? And then they got rock, and they have blues, and they have metal. But there's no hip hop pickups. That's not a thing. Why would that be a thing, you know? But then they're called Yosemite from Fender, where all the magnets are flat instead of staggered.
Okay.
And it was like the most hip hoppy sort of sounding, neutral sounding guitar, you know, pickups that they made. And so that's why I put
Right.
those in there, because that was going to be and still is like the goal, you know, just to help those guys that are already making music so that they can be in front of the, you know.
Yeah.
Because I have no desire to like I said, make like a guitar. I can't.
Create your own song.
Say it again.
The Sam Rogers song.
Yeah, no.
It's like, come on. It's funny when I see dudes that like shred, like are so talented or whatever, and they just sit in front like of their camera instead of being in a band and they're just making YouTube videos. Like, I
Yeah.
always thought that was weird. It's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like jamming by yourself, making videos of you playing guitar. I'm like, why wouldn't you be out like trying to be in a band and playing shows?
Or in front of people, at least let people
Play in front
enjoy it.
Yeah, like a live audience. Like,
Yeah.
even if you're just by
You
yourself,
see them enjoy
you
it.
don't have to be in
instead
a
of
band.
like,
But yeah.
this so-and-so's username enjoyed it. You know,
Yeah.
seeing someone's face enjoy it, I'm sure it's
I've had
fascinating.
bandmates that don't want to play at a show. Or play,
Yeah.
and I'm
It's
like,
like a jam, but they don't want to play live.
Yeah, I'm like, why did you pick this up in the first place? Did you play it in your basement? There's a reason why he did. Was it just to play here, or did you want to play a show?
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, you could start playing like an instrument, not want to play a show,
Yeah, I
but
can
it's once you get
understand.
into a band,
Yeah.
right? But then when I see somebody that's so talented, I'm like, dude, you
Right.
could be in like such a gnarly
See
band,
it all
you'd be
the
so
time.
good. But I was gonna say, I like how you went about your guitar. I've never heard of anybody like, all right, I'm gonna start out like the $100 like cheap,
Yeah.
guitar. You know, I bet every time you strummed it, it was just going out of tune, right?
Yes.
And it sounded like shit.
Bend, and then
Did it just
come
have
back
like
and
one
be-
pickup in it too, or did it have like?
It had the three.
It had the three?
It had the three, but they were they're called ceramic magnets, where it's just like this magnet stuck to the back instead of the poles actually. You know those six
Yeah.
things. Instead of those being magnetic, it's just they're iron, and they just stick a really cheap fridge magnet. It looks exactly like a
Oh
fridge
my
magnet
God.
to the back of it, and that's what cheap pickups are made out of, you know. And then just slowly started switching out all this. Yeah, I learned. I didn't, you know, it was so cool because I got into watches for a long time, and I realized like
I was about to ask that.
yeah, the historical stories behind watches, like people went to the guy that went to the top of Everest used a watch, like the people that went down to Mariana Trench used a watch, you know, space, like if you believe that people went to the moon, which is another topic
Okay,
entirely,
let's change.
they used a
Are
mechanical
we talking
watch
about the
to get
guitar or the watch?
No, now we're talking
watches.
about watches.
I know.
It's a
I wanted
good,
to
it's a
get
good
into the
comparable.
watches.
Yeah, we're
It's a
into
good,
watches.
it's a
Are we
good
into
comparable.
watches or we
Yeah,
into-
we're
Very
with both.
Okay, there we go.
It's a good comparable because, like, you know, when they went to the moon, they didn't have battery-powered watches at that time, right? Computers were the size of this room.
Like a wind.
They wind watch, so they were timing, you know, booster thrusts with like a cogged fucking watch, which is so crazy to me. Like such old school mixed with such new school technology, you know. And so those stories that were behind watches, that's what got me into watches. It wasn't the watches themselves. It was like, wow, these people have actually done stuff with as tools, you know. So race car drivers, Paul Newman would use it to time his laps. They'd let go and, you know, time their fucking how fast they were going. So it was like the high tech of back then. Like there was watches where you could tell time zones, and so pilots, that's what they were using. They were using their GMT watch so that they could tell the people that are on the plane, hey, it's going to be this time when we land. You think that they're looking at some computer or something, but when flight first started, they were looking at their GMT watch. So it was like the first app, really. You know what I mean? It was like an app on their watch that they could tell multiple time zones at the time. So the pilots, and then that slowly becomes a pilot's watch, right? But it was because they used it as an actual tool. And bringing it back to guitars was the same thing for me. It was like, you know, Van Halen was unwiring, rewiring. Eric Clapton had specific things he did with the tone knob. Gilmour had specific stuff he did with the tone knob. Hendrix, is the epitome of like just designing it so that you could, it was for you. And so I saw the parallels from what I loved about watches in guitars. It was like, oh, this isn't how it's done, it's how that guy did it, and that I think that was badass, And so I ended up was like, I'll make my own then,
Dude,
during quarantine.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Watches are cool. Like
So I know. I was about to ask.
Yeah.
So
insane.
This is your watch thing. The same
Yeah.
thing is good.
So watches, the
Watch podcast.
Yeah.
No, it's what?
Dude, he was so excited
He
about
loves
the watches. No.
Yeah. I built
So,
some, and then
why?
the enthusiasm of them. Like I said, they're so historical, like in weird ways, like Marie Antoinette, like old French kings would. You were the man if you had in England, for instance.
One of those sundials?
Yes, so pre-America,
Okay, here we go.
pre-America, like in Europe, the town would just have a big clock, and the reason why they're so tall is because no one had a clock, and so they'd be able to look from their little hut, their little shanty, their little house, and they'd be able to see what time it is.
Okay.
That's why they're so tall. Like that's the invention of a clock tower, is so that the whole town can see what time it is. And then a rich guy shows up with a fucking handheld one. You know what I mean? So they were so rare that it was like only the rich could have them. But then exactly, but slowly but surely, and it's all based on usage. Like so, the wristwatch comes from army guys. They would take a pocket watch and they would weld little bars onto it. They would take the strap off their parachute, like the French. They would take the strap off their parachutes, which was stretchy, and they'd put it on a pocket watch. So it's like, wristwatches no one came up with that. That wasn't a product, it was useful. And then, so it seems to me that people are always like underground and grassroots and doing what they need, and then companies catch on and then steal from the people, and then sell it as a product.
Yeah, okay. So that, they made it like they just,
It came from people
Yeah.
in the military, like, 'cause they,
bringing it down.
I like how like a watch is
It
like
didn't just
more
come
than just
out.
being able to tell the time.
Here's a
They like
small
had
watch.
all these different uses for it. I
Yeah.
didn't even really think about it like that.
Yeah.
And now it's such like just like a fashion thing. Like,
Yeah. It was the
Like
original
use.
phone, It was
Yeah.
the original phone. You could look at it. This one has it's called a
Non-winding.
chronograph, where you could do like a stopwatch, and the outside is called a tachometer. So what you can do is you can do like plain fuel consumption on this watch, which is insane, but that's how they did it. They weren't busting out a battery powered calculator. That didn't exist in the 70s.
Right.
There was no battery powered calculator. So they were doing it with this, And there's also ways you can tell direction by pointing the hour hand at the sun and then going a certain amount of miles away, and then doing it again, and then how far it has moved is direction. So like north, south, east, and west.
Wow.
You can tell where you're going just from like pointing. So these were all useful things that people use for survival. For the first one was invented maybe early 1800s. So for a couple hundred years, people were using them, like you were saying, and now it's become fashion. But they were a real tool.
They really
Did it?
used it because they needed it.
When did they have numbers? Like when did numbers come into play?
So Arabic
Like not where the
numerals.
sun was or this time.
Yeah,
So
Arabic
it's like
numerals.
sun
It's hard to say,
o'clock,
isn't it?
Or,
Yeah.
Sun o'clock.
Sun o'clock.
Oh, you're saying like how would they? What would the
I mean, if
like
he knows the history,
the area of the like shadow? What would that
what made
mean?
numbers come out?
Yeah, so numbers, time is weird in general, because like Moon Day is what Monday ended up being, Sunday is obviously Sunday, Saturn Day is Saturday, so they were all Roman days of celebrations of the planets, and then you throw on top, the reason why a minute has 60 seconds in it is because it was the Babylonians' block number. Like our block number would be probably 10, right? So everything's in intervals of 10 up to 100, but the Babylonians, their interval number was 60. So the minute doesn't have 60 seconds because the sun or anything fucking relatable. It was because it was the Babylonians' number. So you take the Romans' day of celebration, Saturday, Sunday, Moon Day. You take the Babylonians' favorite number, which is 60, and you take the Arabic numerals, which meant something completely different, and you just slam them all together, and then people think that time is real. But if you know the history of it, it's like just a progression of people doing their best. I'm not being like a hater, but people doing their best to understand their situation, I guess. But time is, as people say, time is a figment, but they don't really understand how made up it is. It's, there's no correlation to the sun as to why there's that many hours in a day. No correlation to the sun why there's that many minutes. It was just specific people's favorite stuff, and then they just sort of stuck around, And so watches had like And watches also, you wind them up and the spring slowly expands, and so they call it a talisman, don't they? When an object is similar to the universe. So the French would say "as above, so below," you know.
Mm-hmm.
And a watch is the universe, you know. So it's essentially expanding and telling you time until it slowly dies out, you know. And that's the universe. And so how funny is that they use time for that, you know. And so I got super interested in it, super interested in all the old stories. This one was used.
Time isn't really time.
Yeah, it's as made up gets.
Well, yeah, 'cause like you said, it's not. It has nothing to do with the sun because like, there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And then it's like you only get like a certain amount of hours with
In
the
which
sun.
season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the sun is up, but then you're like, oh, it's midnight, but it's like it's been dark the past fucking 6 hours.
Yeah. And then on a plane, like if you do international flights,
Dude,
like I lived in England for a long time.
I went to England a couple years ago. That was weird. Yeah. The time travel that you do.
Yeah, and if you catch it just right, the sun doesn't set. So the sun is on the horizon for like 8 hours. So it's like even the sunset is an illusion. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were going at a specific speed, the sun never sets. It only sets because we're going the speed we're going right now. So it's like, time is as much of an illusion as anything else. You know?
Time's an illusion. When
you fly to England, you're going into the future, right? Like, because they're like a day.
Yeah, it's nighttime for them right now.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah. So it just shows you that it's such a variable instead of like a black and white. You know,
we're just trying to.
Dude, it's so hard for me to wrap my head.
That's why I said you can't be a hater because it's just cavemen trying to get a mastery on their surroundings, you know. But I think that over the thousands of years, I think that it's much more, you can't dominate the surroundings. That perhaps you are the surroundings, right? Like you eat food, which comes from a tree. You eat water that comes from the outside. So as opposed to this is me and this is outside, eventually everyone will sort of realize that the outside is inside. Like I'm made of everything that is outside of myself. Water isn't inside. I wouldn't say water is inside of myself, would I? Or like the apple that I eat, but the apple that I eat is me. At some point I digest it and it becomes my cells, doesn't it? So it's like the outside and the inside. So when you're a caveman, it's like survival. The outside, spooky. Inside, safe, but eventually you realize like you are the outside and the outside is you. So as opposed to like a man experiencing the world experiencing a man.
Mm-hmm. The universe experiencing itself.
Experiencing itself.
God dang.
And it's so hard to wrap my head around all that. And trying to.
It's good.
Oh my god.
Your tattoos are awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
It's not tomorrow.
Tradition.
Dude, American tradition
or an hour
is
where
it's at.
Yeah.
I wish I would have thought about
I
it.
love American architecture, because like so much was copied from the Europeans,
Yeah, well, you said you brushed over it so quick. You lived in England for a couple of years?
Yeah, so I was born there. I lived there until I was like 13.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like 32 now, but I lived there for a long time.
You lived in England. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
America's awesome. I was here for like 2 weeks before I decided to stay. That's how cool it is there,
Okay.
I was here for like 2 weeks. I was like, okay.
You liked it enough to like not want to go back?
Yeah, I don't need to go home.
Why'd you come visit here?
My father had moved. My father, my mom broke up when I was young, and then he had come here, and then I just came on vacation, and then I was like, I'm not going back. So I left everything I knew, my whole family, just because of
how rad it is.
It's free,
Yeah.
And I feel like this past couple of years, there's definitely been some attacks on the freedoms that America brings, in the falsehood of
the internet attack. That is
sort
not
of, and also like the virtue people, they think that it's grassroots, but it's definitely not, because England is so people talk about free healthcare, don't they? So I have a scar. I'll show you. It goes from my nipple to my spine.
Bro, I have the same scar.
Yeah, so they removed a bunch of my lung. Nice, and this little one for the chest tube.
Yep, chest tube. Dude, I had a lung operation as well.
Exactly.
That's the same side. We have the same scar.
It's the same scar.
That's fucking
bizarre.
Weird, dude. Well, I got the chills.
Yeah, that's
the
crazy.
same scar.
So the free healthcare in England, right? So I was in the hospital for like 6 months before they figured out my lung was collapsed. So people think, right, they thought something was wrong with my bladder. So what happens is people assume that free healthcare means the stuff that you see at the University of Utah or the fancy stuff you see at your current doctors for free. But that's not what that is. You don't all of a sudden get the fancy shit for free. Free healthcare is your x-rays on an overhead projector like you're in elementary school in 95. Like you don't get the nice shit for free, you get the free shit for free. and it's people just sort of guessing,
Mm-hmm.
And so the pound is what their currency is called. It's supposedly worth more than the dollar. Like if you were to take dollars over there, you're half the amount of dollars you have. But for instance, a Snickers bar in England is like £2 or whatever, and then here it's 65 cents. So it's like cost of living. It's just a word that people use, right? But what it means is that the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, they adjust what the products are worth based on the currency. So people think that they can get currency and buy more with it, but as soon as you go inside of that country, they've adjusted the prices of everything.
Right.
So it's the same trap,
It's the same.
It's the same trap. In America, like people, and I put it like this sometimes for people that don't understand, like if like an American showed up with a lifted Chevy, right, just peeling out around a roundabout with a couple flags hanging out the back, dog in the trunk, do you know what I mean? English people would shit their pants. They would call the police. They've never seen that much brazen freedom, right? So right now, people in England are like telling on their neighbors because they have fresh haircuts. Because a fresh haircut means that you went to the barber, which means you left your house more than twice. They're not allowed to leave their house more than 2 times a day right now in England because of the virus. And the neighbors are like snitching on their neighbors, watching their neighbors. Oh, he's got a fresh haircut. Does that make sense? Like how unfree is that?
How do you get caught?
Well, these people are just so bored. Like the neighbors are just
sheep patrolling the sheep, just like the book Animal Farm, like they say, like once you pull the dog away, as long as you train the sheep with the dog, you don't even have to bring the dog out anymore. The scared sheep will keep the other sheep in line so that the dog doesn't come out. And that's the whole point, is that the English people are keeping the other English people down so that the dog doesn't have to come out, aka the government,
Dude, that's so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, so I love America.
Yeah.
The Constitution is beautiful.
Yes.
Dude, yeah, I have a buddy out there, he's hating it so far. He loves fucking Mountain Dew and everything about America, like all this stuff.
Tough to go to England.
Dude, he's like ordering it online. Like they don't sell it there. Like Mountain Dew's illegal, and he loves all the illegal stuff, and like he loves like drugs and shit. He's always showing me all the like fucking crazy stuff he's doing. He's like, man, I would suck 1,000 dicks to fucking be able to live in America, man. I love it out here. And he visited a few years ago, and he absolutely like you said you noticed coming out here, and he came out here and he loves it. And that's insane how trapped they are, and the neighbors. How do you? So that's a real story, the haircut thing, and just other stuff like that.
Yeah, my aunt, her name is Bev. Like I have like specific stories where they're like snitching on their own neighbors, their own friends. Because the government will give you free housing there and a wage. It's called a dole, but here it would be similar to unemployment if you never had to get a job. Here, unemployment is based off of your last job.
Okay,
you had to contribute at some point, right? But there, you don't have to contribute at all. It's called a dole. They'll give you a free house. If you're not, so my Aunt Bev had come here for a couple of months, and the neighbors had noticed that she wasn't leaving her house, so they called the city council on her to say that she's not in the country. So she almost like lost her position and place because of that.
Leaving.
I mean, how far away from America is that? Like, how fucked in comparison to like freedom is that? And America, if you look at like the atlas, like you can see like how far people have run away from the machine. Do you know what I mean? It's called the machine for now, like Caesar, right? Like the machine. They've just ran across. They started in Jerusalem, didn't they? Well, the people started in Africa. They come up and out over Jerusalem, and then they slowly moved left. And to get away from the machine, didn't they? So Jesus said, and people aren't huge fans of Jesus, and it's the hip thing to not be. But I think that they don't understand canon Jesus, because canon Jesus was a rebel, a total badass to the point that the government showed up and murdered him in front of everyone. So he used to say, whose face is on this pretend money you have? And they'd be like, Caesar. They're like, give it back to Caesar then. Why the fuck are you guys spending it? He knew the trap of money long before. And so you can see, people slowly moved over, and the last spot on the map that hasn't been, that's debatable at this point, isn't it, over the past couple of years, but the last spot on the map that wasn't, that wasn't the machine was America. Barren. I know that Indians lived here, and that's a different conversation. But it was the last place where the machine wasn't entirely in control.
Right.
And it was such a beautiful thing to be like, everyone is free, and you can do whatever. Everyone has the right to travel and right to have things and the right to private property. And on the scale of like pieces of paper that have been written, right? So think about all the things that have been written, from like Plato, the Bible, Bhagavad Gita, pick one. Someone wrote down that everyone is free, you're free to travel, free to have whatever you want, no one can take it from you. Like as far as things that have been written down. Now we have like internet, so so much content all the time, right? But these pieces of paper, like you had to be somebody to even like read or write, right? Like it was illegal 400 years ago for the common man to be able to read and write. Like they would like cut your fucking hands off if you were caught writing. You know what I mean? So now, you know, so as far as things that were written down, the Constitution is like a rebellious, like badass piece of equipment, you know, and Americans, I wish more people knew about it, because then they might protect it a little more and not, you know, based on people's feelings, get rid of so much of it, you know.
I had no
It's
idea.
just too much that people
Yeah, a bunch of
thinking
dummies.
too hard.
Yeah, that might be my case.
No, I like it though.
It's
Like,
badass. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's just like
I choose to be
we
very
get wrapped up in
ignorant,
this.
but I also like.
Oh, this would happen today. It's like I can hear that every second from somebody. What's
Yeah,
going on?
too much
You're getting
information.
updated from Aunt Mary how the virus is going or something.
Yeah,
I really want to hear what she has to say today.
that's so funny. What is it? That Dave Chappelle skit? What does Ja Rule have to say about 9/11?
Yeah, you go right
Let's
there,
get
right now.
Ja's opinion.
Yeah, and they're
Perfect.
Yeah. I just watched the South Park one.
Yeah,
Did you watch the new one?
I didn't know.
The
South
court?
Park is
What was
awesome.
it? The vaccine, but it was just
Oh,
funny.
was
It's
it
like,
good?
It was good because they said a quote like that. It's like, it was predicted on the internet that this was going to happen. Just take that for its.
That's perfect.
So yeah, it's awesome. Man, I like America.
It's the best.
It is.
I didn't think we'd go
It
there,
is
but
the
we're
best.
there now.
We're there.
We're there now, baby.
Cancelled.
Yeah, but yeah, you can always come back.
Your show is canceled.
No, this is good. Man.
I think about like
Badass.
how extremely lucky I am, honestly, to be born in this country and in this state and in that suburb, and like growing up and like having what I had, and like it sounds fucked up to say, but to be like a white male with like no like disabilities or like very fucking lucky. You know, like, and I think about like different countries, which I need to travel more because it might put me in my place and to be able to really see like how good you got it instead of just like, you know, you get
That's why
depressed
you think it's
sometimes.
cool,
you
like,
know,
to
oh,
visit.
life sucks, it's so bad, because everybody gets depressed, but it's really not that fucking bad.
And it's a level, I think, too, of like reciprocation, like where so you realize how good you have it, so you start to give to people that don't have it that good. Because there's a level where it's like, oh, my life sucks, and then you realize, oh, it doesn't suck that bad, and then you realize, okay, I've got it fucking good, maybe I can help. You know,
So it
it
has
goes
to be.
back, you know, the snake eating itself.
It has to.
Okay,
Goes
yeah.
back around, you know.
Yes.
Is it cool if we have a cigarette?
Yeah,
that's
we're
cool.
done.
I
We can
wanted-
just call it. Or
Yeah,
do you want to say
I wanted to
something?
ask one. It's not even that like fucking important. I was gonna say, do your parents have accents? Was your dad from America? Are they both from England?
Yeah, so my mom passed away a couple years ago, but she never left England, right? She left England. And then my dad still sort of has an accent. He came here in like the 90s,
Okay.
and then he holds on to it.
He likes to. But do you, did you had an accent?
Oh,
Obviously, you
absolutely.
were 13 years.
Yeah, it slowly
Like,
like.
slowly goes away.
Yeah, and then there's like, I remember like the day I was like, well, I'm gonna change how I say that. The first time it was like cognitive. I was in math class and I said 30 instead of 30. Right? And her name was Katie Burkholz. So she might, you know, I remember it vividly. She was laughing for like 15 minutes, just uncontrollable, laughing at what I had said. And so I was like, okay, that's gonna change. And I
She
didn't
was
realize,
laughing at you because of your accent?
yeah,
You said 30
yeah,
instead of 30.
and she lost it, dude. So I was like, okay, well, that's gonna have to change. But when you're a kid, you just want to fit in, and I was so tall, it was just like this lanky British dude, you know. Whereas and now it's like, oh, standing out is cool. I didn't know that.
Right, because I was gonna say that the accent would have been rad.
I didn't know that when I was
You
young.
completely eradicated that. Does it ever like sneak up on
If
you?
I'm
You ever say
angry or really drunk.
the accent, dude? Yes.
If I'm super angry or really drunk.
The accent comes out.
Yeah. Reverts back.
Well, or if you were to ever go visit, does it like start to
A
like
little bit. I had to fight it a little. I went for like 3 or so months. 2 years ago when my mom passed, I went back for, you know, to collect ashes and collect old photos and stuff. And I found myself fighting it for sure. And then, but so did the people around me. They found themselves fighting the American accent.
Yeah.
Like my older brother, he would slowly start saying words like I was saying.
It's so weird how that happens. I've had it happen to me with my buddies. I'm out there for a couple weeks, or when they came out here, and I don't know if it's in my head sometimes, or if I actually do say it out loud, certain words, but they've called me out on it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the specifics.
It's like
sympathetic.
Sympathetic of one of the empathetic and sympathetic of
Why
one
does that happen? Like you start to like pick up on people's accents like that.
Like when people yawn, you yawn. You know, like a
mimicking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I had a buddy from the Ukraine, and I would like feel like I started like talking dumb how he did. He sounded like such a weird. He had like a weird accent. Like he was really trying to fight it, and then I was just picking it up. But yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to ask because I think that's interesting. Like my grandma, she's from Germany, and she has a accent, but it's not like the classic movie German accent.
Yeah.
Like how you'd think they sound.
The guy from Rocky.
That's like a Russian dude, right?
Oh, that's Russian, my bad.
Yeah.
You're right.
But like
Ivan Drago.
that is the fucking orange juice. Like there's no like you know the movie fucking style.
Yeah.
Like she's definitely not like that. I never thought my grandma had an accent though. Until like other friends, like, where the hell is your grandma from? Like, what do you mean, dude? Like, but
That's just how she sounds.
yeah, and she's kind of like Germans are known for like their attitude or anger or just being like bold. Like has no filter.
Yeah.
Just very.
Oh yeah.
Wow, Kyler, you look like shit today. But she's not trying to be mean. She'll just straight up and say like, have you showered? Your hair looks so bad.
Have you showered?
Like, you look terrible. She will.
Deep, grandma.
Or she'll like pat my belly, like, wow, you gained a few pounds or whatever. Like she's not afraid. She's not trying to be mean either, like on purpose, but it just comes out that way.
Yeah. She probably had like a ration book, you know, like her whole world was probably different.
Joe, I've heard we need to have her on and tell her story about like coming to America and like living in houses that are like a place that didn't have like indoor plumbing and just like running away from, I can't remember if it was the west to the east side of Germany, or just like, you know, just like you will be killed or like arrested if you get caught like trying to run away, like insane, bro. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But, all right, man.
We can say goodbye.
Dude.
You can always come back.
Oh yeah.
And there's some shows or something downtown Salt Lake. We all should meet up and do some stuff too. And
I wish
there's more to come, and I'll put everything you have on your Instagram on like a little video reel after this.
Perfect.
So
anything you'd like to say? Anything last, like anything you'd like to plug or?
No, just these guys. Artocast.
Dude, thanks for letting us fucking come out here.
Yeah,
you're a very interesting guy. I wish I like cared as much about like random stuff. Like got into like, you know, in depth things.
Well, I couldn't help myself. It was
that's
curse.
awesome.
I get it. You kind of get like I hate to say it, but you get like a little autistic about certain things.
Yeah.
So you really get into like little
Yep.
That's how I am with stunts, and it's like a burden on my life.
Yeah. I can't wait to see more.
Yes.
Okay,
all right.
There will be more.
Hell yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks to you, everybody, and good evening, good night.
The Truman Show.
That's
Right
Truman.
where you are.
Goodbye.
What? You need something?